And actually, a topic that is actually, I wanted to put this question to you. I started realizing that even before you go on maternity leave, you have to create that condition beforehand, because it's like it takes a lot of work to prepare where you're going to hand the work off to, what are you going to come back to. So I suppose, Alex, I'd love to put this question to you. How did you start to put that in place before you went away this time?
Yeah, it's essentially a project management activity. I think Ashley could attest to this too, but after sharing the happy news at a certain point, it starts looking like what's going to happen with this body of work and responsibility while you're out. And I think one struggle for people around this can be, guilt of putting more work on other people's plates, or fear of missing out, or any number of emotions around that. And I think the putting together a plan helps involve people into that process for you, and it actually reframes it as an opportunity. So in my case, and actually Ashley's was in a similar boat too. Leading teams is a whole new world with this, where, asking other people to step in and lead in your absence is it is a big ask, but it also can create this amazing opportunity for growth and visibility, and a chance for people to try on a new hat and see if they like it. And so what I've noticed is that it can be a win-win, but the planning of it can make all the difference in the world. Yeah, Ashley, what was your experience around that?
Yeah, mine was very I don't want to say terrifying, because that sounds like it really dramatic, but it was, so I'm a first-time mom, so never done this before. I had no really plan or previous experience to draw upon, but lots of really great people around me who have had a child, gone away, and come back at BetterUp. So and then the irony that Allison and I are both basically going to go out around the same time, like within weeks of each other. What was I'm a planner. I love to plan. That's like my sweet spot. So I had been thinking through, like, okay, I have a team, and how do I make sure that they're all okay? Who would be able to do that? And luckily for me, I had someone who immediately rose to the surface, Amber Burkhart, who's just so, just has such a great attitude and mindset around things, and is also really good at like prioritizing. So if I gave her more work, it wouldn't be challenging for her to, she's smart enough to know, like, okay, I'm going to start to say no to some of these things so I can lean in this space. What the terrifying comment comes from the fact that my daughter was born 11 weeks earlier than expected. So it shifted everything. And I think that's where the culture piece really stood out for me, was just how cared for I felt through that time, because it was so terrifying to have your child born at 29 weeks and you have to, she's in the NICU, and you're not quite ready to take off completely. And how do you do that and balance it? And so it was nice in some ways as a forcing function, like, okay, she's here. So this is happening, and I need to get everyone ready and start working towards me moving out. So it created some urgency in this situation, but it also created a space for me to let other people care about me and to accept that. And that, I think, made it so much easier for me to eventually step back once she was ready to come home and fully disconnect during my maternity leave, which was such a gift.
No, thank you for sharing that, Ashley. I'm going to start with I definitely benefited from Amber. I think Amber was just amazing, to so much so that's why I've had the best experience working anywhere. And I think it was definitely because of Amber was always constantly checking in, to the stage where even I didn't, and actually I do actually really acknowledge and glad that you're back, but I didn't notice it so much because Amber was so good. And so I didn't feel like I didn't have a manager. So it's like, it was an amazing experience to feel like someone could step in. And also something that was shocking for me was the strong social connection. Like, I think I'd only just met you, but I could already feel like the connection, and also sending you messages at that tough period, but also seeing the way everyone in the team was like galvanizing and trying to show support at that point was, it was amazing to see, and it was really good for me to come into that environment to learn from that.
Yeah. I feel like I went out on maternity leave before you started.
It was a week I started.
You started.